Joining us is Virginia's head honcho of the American Petroleum Institute, Mike Ward. Mike, great to have you, man.
Morning, John. Thanks for having me on your show.
Hey, Mike, we're kind of fired up because every time we have you on, it's always a disaster, right? You can't drill, you can't mine, you can't do this, you can't do that. Energy prices are going up. Finally, Mike, we got a little good news, right? In that the Obama administration, Department of Interior, has made apparently the decision that it's going to include Virginia in a 5-year lease plan. Can you explain to our audience what this means and what the impact could possibly be?
Well, it's a good step. I mean, we're actually getting back to the realization that we've got some real opportunities with developing our domestic resources and the advantages we have by being more and more energy independent. What this lease sale would do would set in motion the opportunity for comments and further opportunities for exploration 50 miles off the coast of not only Virginia, but the rest of the South Atlantic state seaboards all the way down to Georgia. So this is a good step to move forward. On the other hand, as typical as we've seen with this administration, there's a built-in delay, and they don't want this lease sale to take place until 2021, which is another 6 years away. So we hope that folks will comment and weigh in that, yes, we do need to have this lease sale take place, and by the way, let's move it along a little faster than a 6-year delay.
Now, Mike Ward, what about the previous inclusion of Virginia going back to 2010, how Deepwater Horizon derailed things? Everybody kind of remembers that. How is this going to be different?
Well, that lease sale was outright canceled because of the incident in the Gulf. The way that the map is proposing this lease sale would be very similar off Virginia as to what the 220 lease sale entailed back in 2010. So as far as the area that might be open for development, exploration, seismic work, and so forth, it would be very similar. I guess one of the better side stories of this, though, is that it's also an opportunity to include lease sales off of our neighbor states to the south. So it's a larger area overall. Virginia's scope is about the same as it was from the previous lease sale.
One of the things that Senators Tim Kaine and Mark Warner have really bitterly complained about yesterday is, this is a good step and all that, and we're excited about it. Perry McAuliffe also enthusiastic about it. It's absolutely the right thing to do. Anybody knows that. So finally a little bit of positive movement. But Virginia is not going to share in the revenues of any of the exploration if it proves successful, which isn't fair because Louisiana shares in it, Mississippi shares in it, Florida Panhandle shares in it. What are we, chopped liver?
Yeah, that's a frustrating aspect of this whole thing, and it's going to take an act of Congress to get that revenue-sharing legislation passed. I think there's more and more support for that because even the interior states see the opportunity for this federal sharing, state sharing, when at least there's opportunities for some state revenue to benefit. But it's another step that has to be taken. And you're right. Why would you offer that type of deal to states in the Gulf of Mexico and not offer it to a new frontier off the Atlantic?
I mean, absolutely. It doesn't make any sense. But what's happening is you've got interior states congressmen just wants to give it. They just want to give the money to the feds because their states are not impacted by it. So we get screwed.
Hey, Mike, good morning. Appreciate you joining us as well. One of the things, obviously, we're dealing with, particularly in the Hampton Roads, but Virginia's in Northern Virginia, but Virginia's really affected by the cuts in defense spending. So this could be a particular huge boom for our economy here. We obviously want to get the people behind us. So talk to us, if you would, about some of the opportunities we'll have for jobs. I mean, obviously, we would like to get the royalties, and I know that the two senators are going to hopefully fight for that. But as far as infrastructure, all that's going to be required right here in Virginia. Tell us a little bit about what the job potential is as far as the economy here in Virginia and how this could help boost it.
That's a good point, Mike, especially with the federal sequestrations and the military cutbacks in Hampton Roads and Northern Virginia and so forth. The offshore opportunities could fill that void. It's incredible. If you look to the southern states and Gulf states, what the portion of jobs that are created because of the activities down there. A recent study was done as to what the potential Virginia employment would be due to the Atlantic offshore oil and gas exploration development, projected to reach nearly 25,000 jobs by 2035. Now, that's not only the 9,000 jobs that's direct employment revenue, and it would also include indirect and induced employment of nearly 16,000 jobs. So we're talking about an incredible workforce that could be materialized around this new frontier and this huge construction project that could be taking place off Virginia's coast.
Well, that's great. Well, one of the other ththings that I know that we often hear discussion, whether it was talking about wind turbines out there or rigs or anything like that, is an issue in dealing with the waterways and the military. As far as both offshore and onshore with our military, do you see how they factor into this? Is it going to be potentially helpful? Is it going to put its roadblocks? What do you see there?
Well, before this lease sale goes forward, the Department of Defense and the Navy are going to weigh in, just like they did back in the 2010 lease sale. And back in that lease sale, we actually saw, the way that the Virginia portion was set out. It was done in a way to satisfy concerns by the military. So there's no question that's going to be taken into consideration. It has to be. But I would point out that there's plenty of military operations and activity that take place in the Gulf where there's 4,000 platforms. And if they can do it down there, I guarantee we can do it up on the Atlantic.
Fantastic. Hey, one of the things that I've really worked on an awful lot in all of Virginia, with particularly with the 23 community colleges in the state. Obviously, workforce development is a huge issue that's got everyone's attention now. Certainly, something that has been one of my missions. What do you see that we need to be putting in place today if we're start talking about 6 years, hopefully even earlier? Of some of the jobs that may come. What type of jobs should we be setting programs up to fill that void? Because they're going to be jobs. We want them to be Virginia jobs.
Well, these jobs, it's kind of a trickle-down effect. When you have what I keep describing as a huge construction project like this off Virginia's coast, not only do you need to have petroleum engineers and people that are familiar with drilling, deep drilling, the type of work that's done in the Gulf, but you have so many support services that take place to help support this huge construction project. All of the maritime industry, the piping and delivery services, even helicopters to run people back and forth from the area back to shore. All these things are build on to the overall construction. And it's a wide plethora of different types of jobs that weigh into that. So when I mentioned the 25,000 jobs in 2035, it would be a huge swath of all types of different jobs. But as far as the workforce is concerned, we sure hope that a lot of those jobs will be right here in Virginia because, what better place to start such a construction project but just right offshore of the Port of Hampton Roads.
Absolutely. Well, to all the parents out there that are wondering what their kids are going to do when they graduate, keep this in mind. I'm also as looking at tuition and increases in tuition, and particularly college debt. And one of the things I always tout is, look, when you're deciding what major you're going to take, let's look and see where the jobs are. This sounds like a great opportunity for people to be looking at it, whether it's in an engineering level or it's at a craftsman level or administrative. So many other opportunities there. So I appreciate that input because that's what we want the parents and the students and future college students to understand. This is we're going to have some diversity, particularly in the Hampton Roads, and this looks like it's a great opportunity. So I appreciate what you're doing.
Well said, Mike. Thank you.
Talk to us about timing. You get one of these things and then you're all excited for a day and then you start looking at the red tape, the paperwork, the bureaucracy. What's the timing when we could actually get a drill on the bottom of the ocean floor?
Well, like I mentioned before, they're talking about pushing this lease sale to not take place until 2021. It could take place as early as 2017. This is the next 5-year plan that we're working on and that the federal government is describing. A 2017 to 2022 lease sale, that 5-year window is the time frame that the federal government operates. And you're right, you do have to go through step after step, hurdle after hurdle to get through this process. But we're at least drumming it back up. It will get going. What we'll see now is after this announcement, we'll see public hearings taking place, scoping meetings taking place. I expect there'll be a hearing in Norfolk like there was back in 2010 time frame, and there'll be an opportunity for folks to comment and weigh in and provide their comments of support for moving forward. But it is a long, drawn-out process. Hopefully, we can get it moving in a time frame where Virginia can benefit sooner rather than later.
Mike, talk to us about the Virginia Coastal Pipeline, this pipeline that's going to take basically natural gas through Virginia. There's been a lot of talk about it. A lot of the left-wing environmentalists are finding every reason to reroute it, not doing it, etc. But it's critical for the economy of Virginia. Where are we on that?
Well, that's another process that's involving a lot of federal agencies because it is an interstate pipeline. That's completely separate from the offshore focus, but they're both trying to accomplish the same thing, and that is looking ahead, trying to get the United States ready for the energy needs of the future and prepared to develop those needs. What we'll see take place with the Atlantic Coast Pipeline is also a very comprehensive comment process and input process where there'll be tweaks and changes to that pipeline route. We've already seen some of those. But the whole concept is to be able to take advantage of the huge Marcellus Shale finds and plays that have taken place out in West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and so forth, and provide a pipeline for that natural gas to serve Virginia and North Carolina. And it'll reach into areas that are desperately in need of natural gas for manufacturing, for residential, for commercial. And it's just all trying to put in place an infrastructure to provide energy for our future.
And, you know, Mike, one of the things about it that people don't realize is the way it's set up is that any community can tap into it along the way, right? So if I'm in a rural community and we simply need the energy, you can just tap into that pipeline, pay for it, and extract it out, right?
Well, you have to look at all the compressor stations and see exactly where those type of tap-ins could take place. But that is a side benefit to the overall pipeline process. And one of the major points of that Atlantic Coast Pipeline is it's not only provide a direct line running through the south-central part of the state in North Carolina, but a very important spur line that runs down to Virginia Beach Hampton Roads, which is kind of a cul-de-sac or a dead end as far as energy needs go. So this will provide more resources of natural gas to the Hampton Roads region. There again, a growth area for the future.
You know, it's absolutely critical.
Yeah, Mike Watson back here again. One of the things, and you touched on this, is the infrastructure that bringing this in, the economic opportunity it brings to really traditionally depressed areas. That's huge, but it's also, as you mentioned, in the Hampton Roads. You know, we got a situation right there off of Williamsburg with Dominion Power is having to put they're wanting to put towers across the river. A lot of opposition to that because of the historic virtues of the area. But one of the reasons they're having to go with such a high power line and so they can't run it underground or underwater is because of the amount of energy they've got to bring across, in part because they're having to shut down the Yorktown Power Station. It's a coal-powered power station, and they do not have natural gas there right now. You'd think with all the opposition with the left on running this pipeline that they would support, at the same time they're spouting clean energy, they would support this line going in over here. It's I don't know if you can make sense of that, but that's one of the challenges. It kind of makes you scratch your head because we'd love to see that power station stay open, convert it over to natural gas, keep those jobs, and also give us one more easterly generating station, that they'll have there in Hampton Roads.
Mike, we have a half a minute. Any final words, Mike Ward?
Yes, just add, again, this is opportunity for your listeners to comment. We're going to see the dates and the opportunities for these public hearings. So I would just recommend that if your listeners are interested, log into VirginiaEnergyCitizens.org. There's going to be announcements and more information, and folks can sign up to be Virginia Energy Citizens supporters and get more news as we move forward.
Go to VirginiaEnergyCitizens.org, VirginiaEnergyCitizens.org. We want to thank Mike Ward for being with us, head honcho, American Petroleum Institute, Virginia.